Carrying a handgun isn't just about strapping on a piece of gear. It's about being mentally and physically prepared to defend your life when everything goes sideways. Within the firearms community, we spend a lot of time refining how we carry, whether that's IWB inside the waistband, OWB outside the waistband, or appendix. But the conversation too often overlooks what not to do. And when it comes to carrying a gun, a single mistake can cost you dearly. In this breakdown, we're going to dissect some of the most unsafe and downright impractical carry methods out there. These aren't just bad habits, they're potentially life-threatening. We'll dig into the pros and cons, bust a few myths, and zero in on what many consider the absolute worst way to carry a firearm. When you carry a sidearm for personal defense, you're not just making a statement, you're taking on real responsibility. The point isn't to look tactical or check a box. It's about being ready to act with precision and purpose the instant a threat emerges. Your method of carry can either help you respond fast or leave you fumbling at the worst possible time. Concealed carry offers no shortage of configurations. Appendix, small of back, strong side hip, ankle, you name it. Each one has its fans and critics, but they all demand one key thing: accessibility under stress. If your pistol isn't ready to go when you are, it doesn't matter how cool your setup looks or how comfortable it feels sitting in your truck. In a real-world defensive encounter, time is the currency you can't afford to waste. Most violent confrontations wrap up in under 5 seconds. That's not a lot of margin for error. If your draw is compromised because your holster's buried under layers or your grip angle is all wrong, that delay could be the difference between walking away or not walking at all. And here's the hard truth: not every carry style is created equal. Some are straight up dangerous, despite being popularized by influencers or Hollywood. An improperly chosen method can lead to delayed draws, unintentional discharges, or even losing control of your weapon during a physical fight. Your gun isn't a fashion accessory, it's a tool, and the way you carry it should reflect that reality. With that foundation set, let's take a closer look at one of the most debated and polarizing carry positions out there: appendix carry. Appendix carry, pros, pitfalls, and perspective. In recent years, appendix carry has seen a huge surge in popularity, and for good reason. Positioned right at the front of the body, just above the waistband, around the 1 o'clock position, it gives you some of the fastest access possible to your firearm. For those of us who've trained in close quarters draw scenarios, the speed advantage here is undeniable. Another big plus? It conceals well. With the right rig, you can tuck a compact or even full-size pistol like a Glock 19 or a SIG P320 right under a t-shirt with almost no printing. It stays tight to the body's core, minimizing movement and reducing the chances of snagging on your cover garment. Comfort is subjective, but a lot of folks, myself included, find appendix more comfortable than strong side carry, especially when driving or sitting for long periods. It also helps with consistent draw angles and muscle memory. And when you've trained enough to build that into your reflexes, every 1/10 of a second counts. But let's be honest, appendix isn't without risks. In fact, it's probably the most controversial carry position out there. The main concern? You're tucking a loaded firearm inches away from some pretty vital anatomy. A negligent discharge could hit your femoral artery, your intestines, or worse. This isn't paranoia, it's basic anatomy and physics. Striker-fired pistols like the Glock 43, SIG P320, or Smith & Wesson M&P9 have minimal external safeties. That's great for speed, but it leaves zero room for sloppy reholstering. If your trigger guard isn't completely clear, or your shirt gets bunched up during reholstering, you're playing with fire literally. That's why disciplined gun owners always reholster slowly, deliberately, and with eyes on the holster. There are safer options if you're set on appendix, but want added peace of mind. Double-action pistols and revolvers like a Ruger LCR or a Beretta PX4 Storm offer longer, heavier trigger pulls that make an accidental discharge less likely. Some folks opt for hammer-fired sidearms with a thumb safety, or use specialized holsters with built-in trigger guards that prevent anything from engaging the bang switch until it's time. Speaking of holsters, this is where you don't cut corners. A good appendix holster needs rock-solid retention, full trigger guard coverage, and enough rigidity to keep its shape during reholstering. Features like adjustable cant, ride height, and even a claw or wedge to tuck the grip closer to the body can drastically improve both comfort and concealment. So, what's the bottom line? Appendix carry isn't for everyone. It offers a lot fast draw, deep concealment, comfort, but it also demands a high level of discipline. If you're lazy about gear, careless with reholstering, or just don't train regularly, this isn't the method for you. But for those who take it seriously, appendix carry is one of the most effective ways to stay ready when it matters most. Small of back carry, hidden risks behind the curve. Let's take a closer look at small of back carry, a method that's often chosen for its solid concealment, especially by folks who want to keep their setup as low profile as possible. With the pistol resting right along the lumbar spine, it stays tucked out of sight, even under a thin t-shirt. It's easy to see the attraction, the position feels natural, and seems like it keeps the gun out of the way. But dig a little deeper, and the downsides become impossible to ignore. At the top of the list, spinal trauma. Carrying a firearm, particularly something steel, framed like a commander-length .45 auto directly against your spine, creates a massive liability if you fall. One bad slip on ice, or a rough takedown in a fight, and you could be looking at serious, permanent back damage. This isn't just armchair theory, it's happened in real-world law enforcement. In fact, some departments have completely banned small of back carry after officers suffered debilitating injuries from falls where backup gear impacted their lower back. This carry method also comes with tactical limitations. If you've ever tried to reach around behind your back under stress, you already know it's awkward, slow, and unreliable. In a high-stakes encounter, where every tenth of a second matters, that delay can cost you dearly. Add in the fact that drawing from this position exposes your flank and twists your torso, and you've got a recipe for disaster if someone's rushing you. Professionally speaking, it's also frowned upon by liability experts and insurance providers. Many agencies and security firms have written policies forbidding it outright, citing safety concerns. And honestly, even pocket carry, a method that's often criticized in its own right, offers faster access and carries far less injury risk than strapping a pistol to your spine. Bottom line, small of back carry may score points for concealment, but it fails in too many critical areas: accessibility, safety, and real-world functionality. Yet, despite these major drawbacks, it's not the worst carry method out there. That unfortunate title goes to one that's even more awkward, even less practical, and far more susceptible to failure: ankle carry. Ankle carry, tactical dead weight. Strapping a gun to your leg might sound like a clever way to stay discreet, but ankle carry brings a whole set of problems that can't be overlooked. Between constant leg motion and ground-level placement, this method ranks at the bottom when it comes to tactical efficiency and real-world practicality. Even with a quality holster, the lower leg takes a beating throughout the day. Walking, running, crouching, all of it puts extra strain on the rig. That wear and tear adds up fast and increases the chances that your firearm could shift or, worse, fall out entirely during movement. And let's be honest, even a featherweight wheel gun like a Smith & Wesson Model 637 chambered in .38 special starts to feel like a brick after a few hours strapped to your shin. Weight aside, ankle carry comes with severe restrictions on what kind of gun you can realistically bring along. You're limited to micro-compacts and ultra-light revolvers, firearms, that typically offer reduced magazine capacity, lower energy rounds, and slower reload times. You might be packing a .22 long rifle or a .380 ACP, but when things get serious, you'll wish you had something with a bit more punch. Drawing from the ankle isn't exactly graceful either. It requires bending down, usually both hands, and that's assuming you're not in motion or already tangled up with an attacker. If you're knocked to the ground or in a scuffle, reaching your back up becomes even harder, especially if your strong side leg is pinned. And while some claim ankle carry is great for folks who sit a lot, think drivers or office workers, the truth is that a good cross-draw setup or vehicle-mounted holster gives you far better access without putting your primary sidearm halfway to the floor. To put it bluntly, ankle carry is outdated and dangerously inefficient. Yes, it has a place as a last-ditch backup method for trained professionals, but for most civilians, it introduces far more problems than it solves. Between delayed draw times, reduced weapon options, and the sheer awkwardness of it all, you're better off looking elsewhere. Smarter ways to carry, safe, fast, and functional. Let's talk about carry methods that actually work, the ones that strike the sweet spot between staying safe, staying fast, and staying comfortable. When things go south, you don't want guesswork. You want your sidearm where it needs to be: accessible, secure, and ready to go. For most responsibly armed Americans, three methods rise to the top. Outside the waistband OWB and pocket carry. These aren't just popular, they've been proven in real-world scenarios by civilians and professionals alike. Inside the waistband IWB is probably the gold standard when it comes to concealed carry. By tucking your firearm inside the waistband, typically around the 3 to 5 o'clock position, you're maximizing concealment without sacrificing speed. Whether you're rocking a Glock 43, a SIG P229, or a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield chambered in 9mm, IWB offers solid retention, keeps the gun close to your centerline, and stays hidden under anything from a hoodie to a dress shirt. And the comfort? With a decent holster, IWB carry distributes weight well enough that you'll forget it's even there after a few hours. Outside the waistband OWB, on the other hand, is all about speed. The holster rides outside your pants, making your draw stroke smoother and more intuitive. That's why it's the go-to for duty belts and open carry setups. If concealment isn't your top priority, say you're at the range, in the woods, or in a jurisdiction that supports open carry, then OWB gives you fast access and better control during high-stress situations. Pair it with a good retention holster and you're set. Pocket carry rounds out the trio. Now, this one has its limits. It's meant for smaller calibers like .380 ACP or a snub-nosed revolver chambered in .38 Special, but it's incredibly useful in low-threat environments or as a backup option. Just make sure you use a dedicated pocket holster that completely covers the trigger guard and keeps the pistol upright. No loose guns bouncing around in your jeans pocket. Folks, that's how accidents happen. Gear and training, your real-life insurance policy. Even the best carry method won't do squat if your gear is garbage or your skills are rusty. That's why choosing solid equipment and committing to regular training are non-negotiables for anyone serious about self-defense. Let's start with the holster. You need something that's purpose-built, not an Amazon knockoff or a $10 impulse buy. A high-quality holster will hold your firearm securely, fully cover the trigger guard, and stay put during movement. Adjustable retention, ride height, and cant are all bonuses that let you dial in your setup to match your body type and carry style. And then there's training, the part most people say they'll do, but never actually stick with. Drawing from concealment isn't just about yanking the gun and pointing. It's about efficiency, safety, and muscle memory. Get comfortable with your gear. Practice your draw stroke until it's second nature. Reholstering should be deliberate, not rushed. And always train with situational awareness in mind, because bad guys don't wait for you to be ready. Wrapping it up. At the end of the day, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. The best carry method is the one that balances comfort, safety, and real-world readiness. With the right holster and a steady training routine, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, and pocket carry all stand out as dependable options for responsibly armed citizens. So what's your setup? Are you team IWB, OWB, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts below and let's keep the conversation going. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with your circle, and hit that subscribe button for more real-world firearm insight. Until next time, stay safe, stay sharp, and carry smart.